holiday season is upon us, and that means we're already thinking ahead to a visit from our favorite guy in red, Santa Claus. Sometimes he's all fat and jolly, but sometimes he's actually played by some of our favorite actors of all time. Here are 18 celebs who have played Santa Claus right here on Listed. Alec Baldwin is making us laugh our pants off with his Trump impressions on SNL lately, and he's slayed as Jack in 30 Rock, but he's also brought his magical acting skill to the role of Old Saint Nick, or at least his voice acting skill. Baldwin voiced Santa in 2012's Rise of the Guardians.
If Man and Moon chose you to be a guardian, you must have something very special inside.
Your 90s forever crush Jonathan Taylor Thomas did a stint as the most crush-worthy version of Santa in I'll Be Home for Christmas back in 1998. In the movie, JTT's character gets stranded in the desert and literally superglued into a Santa hat, which is an appropriate beginning for an adventure that's all about forcing him to get into the Christmas spirit.
I'm in the middle of nowhere dressed like Santa Claus being attacked by a killer buzzard.
Jake Gyllenhaal wins the award for Sexiest Santa thanks to this scene in Jarhead when he tries to get into the Christmas spirit while stationed in the blistering hot desert of Saudi Arabia. Who knew a Santa hat was best accessorized with a pair of dog tags and nothing else? He may not be quite as sexy as Jake, but Ryan Phillippe did his own turn as a sexy Santa in 54, when he lounged around and showed off his six-pack and an open-shirt Santa suit. And speaking of sexy Santas, Max Greenfield, aka Schmidt from New Girl, hilariously, and we have to admit sexily, threw his name into the ring when he went shirtless in a Santa hat on the show. Ben Affleck is most famous these days for donning the Dark Knight suit as the latest movie Batman. But back in 2000, he plays a guy who gets roped into a heist, thanks blackmail, and has to dress as Santa to rob a casino on Christmas Eve. Who could forget our favorite small screen Santas? Like, could Chandler Bing be any better as Santa? No, he could not. He often gets overshadowed by the holiday armadillo, but Matthew Perry's Santa was one for the ages.
It's okay!
Steve Carell also got in on the funny sitcom Santa game when he dressed as Old Saint Nick for a Christmas episode of The Office. Even the magic of Santa can't dilute the overarching awkwardness of Dunder Mifflin, not that we'd want to.
Yeah, sure, everybody would go to one Santa, and there would be a line around the block, and once you sat on her lap and she asked you what you wanted, you would say probably freedom.
Zachary Levi made an absolutely adorable Santa in one of the most memorable episodes of Chuck. Of course, Zachary Levi was absolutely adorable in, like, every episode of Chuck. Constance Wu played the most amazing version of Santa on ABC's groundbreaking sitcom Fresh Off the Boat, Chinese Santa. Wu plays strong-willed mom Jessica Wang, who tries to convince her youngest son that Santa is actually Chinese. Then she tries to improve Santa, making him smarter and more focused on children's academics and life achievements. It's perfection.
I've never heard of a woman Santa.
You think a man is thoughtful enough to give a present to everyone in the world?
Billy Bob Thornton turned our idea of what it meant to be Santa 100% on its head in Bad Santa. In the movie, he plays a department store Santa who's a bad guy, and like a legitimately bad guy, he plans to rob his department store, North Pole, on Christmas Eve.
If you were Santa, you could do magic.
You want to see some magic? Here, let's watch you disappear.
If you thought Billy Bob was a tipsy Santa, you need to see Jim Carrey's portrayal of the big man in Drunk History Christmas. As a bonus, it's also full of Ryan Gosling-shaped eye candy and lots of laughs because, duh, drunk history.
To the top of the portal, to the top of the wall, on Dashaway. Dashaway, Dashaway, oh.
In 1983's Trading Places, Dan Aykroyd plays a Wall Street hotshot who ends up entirely down on his luck after he's on the wrong end of a cruel bet played by his bosses. When he really hits rock bottom, he steals a super dirty, mega disgusting Santa suit and crashes the company party in the worst way. Edmund Gwenn played a very traditional version of the Santa we all heard about as kids in 1947's version of Miracle on 34th Street, complete with a jolly belly and a full white beard.
Would you please tell her that you're not really Santa Claus? That there actually is no such person?
Well, I'm sorry to disagree with you, Mrs. Walker, but not only is there such a person, but here I am to prove it.
Richard Attenborough brought us all kinds of traditional Christmas feels in the 1994 remake of Miracle on 34th Street, opposite our imaginary 90s BFF Mara Wilson. Sure, these portrayals of Santa didn't push the envelope, but they're classics for a reason.
I wish you a Merry Christmas.
Paul Giamatti got his traditional Saint Nick on in Fred Claus, opposite Vince Vaughn. The movie is all about Santa's less famous brother, but Paul brings it a hilarious, modern, but still traditional version of the classic Christmas character.
They called you. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, and do you think that after a while of being called Four-Eyed Clyde, you maybe got a little angry? Maybe you started a fight or two. Maybe 10, maybe 12.
And when it comes to modern comedy takes on the big man in red, who could forget Ed Asner's memorable turn as Santa and Will Ferrell's Christmas classic, Elf? In the movie, Buddy the Elf looks up to Santa like he's practically a god, echoing the sentiments of children everywhere.
What in the name of Sam Hill?
And of course, we have to end on the #1 movie Santa of all time, Tim Allen, who played Santa in the wildly popular Santa Claus trilogy. These movies single-handedly gave hope to every kid who was hanging on to the belief in Santa a little too long and explained Christmas Eve's biggest mysteries in the most magical way.
Hey, you!
By accident.
So we've concluded our list of 18 celebs who played Santa Claus. Which of these TV and movie Santas is your favorites, and did we miss one that you love? Tell us about it here in the comments section below, and after that you can click right over here to check out actors who've done crazy things for movie roles. Thanks so much for hanging out with me here on Listed. I'm your host, Sinead DeFries, and I'll see you guys next time.